so it's that time. The draft is officially come and gone, and we're now officially entering the dog days of the NFL offseason, where not much is going to be talked about in terms of the NFL state until, like, maybe around training camp time. But, yeah, of course, we all know the Lions, they have their rookie training minicamp at the end of the month, along with the start of OTAs and the player minicamp and all that stuff. So it's going to be pretty quiet from here on out. Like, the Lions, after the draft, it's been pretty quiet in terms of rumors and all that. Like, the only rumors we heard about is potential rookie jersey numbers for Hutchinson and, Jameson Williams. Like, Hutchinson, it's expected that he's going to be wearing 97 because, of course, that was his college number going through college and school. So, yeah, that's pretty expected. That it's not surprising if he gets 97. Now, Jameson Williams is in an interesting position because I think he wanted to go number 1 with his number in college. The problem is, that Okuda is wearing number 1 this year, so that number's available. There was also number 6 that he wore at Alabama. That number's already taken by Riley Patterson, the kicker. Now, there have been reports that Jameson Williams is expected to wear an 89 this year, but Brock Wright is already wearing that number. Unless Jameson Williams and Brock Wright are going to work out a deal to where Brock Wright will change his number to open up 89 for Jameson. If that's what's going to happen here. So Jameson, it's unknown if he's truly going to get 89 or not. He could go 11. I don't know if 11 is available. But yeah, this number situation will get interesting this offseason. We'll find out for sure when we get to rookie minicamp. That's for, or at least OTAs when they announce the rookie numbers later on. But yeah, at least I think we all know Hutchinson's getting 97 because that number is still available. But yeah, still pretty quiet. And in terms of schedule rumors, when the schedule coming out Thursday, not much has really been revealed in terms of schedule. Like, the only one rumor I hear about the Lions' schedule this year is that the Lions are expected to play the Bills on Thanksgiving this year. So yeah, I mean, if the Lions play the Bills on Thanksgiving, that would actually be a really good matchup. No, really good game to watch. So yeah. But yeah, of course, some of the international games have been revealed. And yeah, Detroit got none of the games in England or Mexico or hell, even the game in Germany that NFL is going to be doing this year. So yeah, you know, unknown if the Lions are going to even have any primetime games, whether it be a Thursday night game on Amazon or a Monday night game on ESPN or even a Sunday night game on NBC. That's yet to be seen. They're probably going to get only one primetime game, and that's probably going to be a Monday night game against God knows who. But the only real... And, of course, on the Thanksgiving game, which is a 12 o'clock game, so that's the normal. But, yeah. Just very quiet in terms of that front. Not many rumors, though, except the one rumor that did go around that was reported was about the trade offer. Because even after this there's still quite a few players' futures in the NFL that are still undecided. Like, what will happen with Deebo Samuel in San Francisco? If anyone's wondering, the Lions actually did make a run at him on draft day. Because the Lions were willing to offer the 32nd and the 66th pick for Deebo Samuel. The 49ers declined that offer because the 49ers found that offer not only an insult, but a slap in the face. So yeah, Brad Holmes tried to fleece the 49ers for Deebo Samuel. The 49ers saw right through that. Sorry, Brad, not every GM can be like the Minnesota Vikings. But hey, I think honestly trading up for Jameson Williams is honestly a better choice than Deebo Samuel, because if the Lions got Deebo Samuel, they would have to pay him exactly what he wanted with no leverage. So then you would be having to give up almost $20-25 million a year for Deebo. While you can have Jameson Williams on a cheap rookie deal, who Jameson is pretty much like Justin Jefferson and Deebo in a way, can take the top off of defense when he's healthy. So yeah, I think it's a better deal to have Jameson Williams over Deebo right now with that situation. And of course, a few QB situations. What happens with Jimmy G in San Francisco? Does he stay or does he get dealt? And there's also that report about Baker Mayfield, what his future is going to be like with Cleveland, because Cleveland tried to trade him off to Carolina, but the deal fell through because the Browns were demanding way too much while having no leverage in the situation. So, yeah, now that status is up in the air. I honestly feel like the Browns are going to cut Baker Mayfield. That's what I feel like is going to happen there for that. And, of course, there's still a lot of free agents still available. You know, names like Julio Jones, you know, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr. Hell, even Ndamukong Suh is still available. So, yeah, there's still some good free agents still on the market that if the Lions wanted to make a run at, they could still acquire them and get them. So, yeah, there's that, too. So, there's still a pretty good pool of free agents still available. And the Lions still have a good amount of cap space left to maybe get 1 or 2 more players if they wanted to. So, yeah, that about wraps that front up. And, of course, we have the undrafted players that are signed on. I have all the players listed on the screen right here. So, yeah, of course, we're only going to go over 3 certain players. The 3 best players I think have the best shot at making the Lions roster. So, yeah, for the next little bit of this video, it's time you're going to just hear voiceovers and see photos of these players. But, yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and let's take a look at some of these players. So, anyway, starting off, the first player we're going to go over, we have hailing out of Tulsa, standing 5'11", weighing 170 pounds. We got wide receiver Josh Johnson. So, for Josh's strong points, you know, he's a transfer from Iowa State to Tulsa. He actually ascended steadily at Tulsa, rising up the depth charts, and then finished his career at Tulsa with a breakout season in 2021. Shifty slot receiver, decent quickness and long speed. Shows a knack for finding soft spots against zone coverage. Flashes the ability to create after the catch. Has the lateral agility to make tacklers miss, and then the speed to pick up chunks of yards. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's undersized and he's more quick than fast, but a galloping running style in the open field will result in him getting chased down from behind a lot. And a lot of his production came from stacked releases. He'll have to learn to deal with more physical defensive backs in the pros, and he has a pretty small catch radius. In his college career, he played in 46 games, had 166 catches for 2,119 yards, averaging 12.8 yards a catch, with 13 touchdowns. So he was pretty productive in college at Tulsa. But overall, though, he has a chance to become a viable 3rd or 4th receiver on the team. But you have to carve out as a role on a special teams contributor early in order to stick on a roster early on. So with him, you could have him be like a returner on special teams for kick return or punt return, like that kind of deal. You know, it could be a solid 3rd option here at slot if you want to move Amon-Ra St. Brown to as number 2 wide receiver, since Jameson Williams is probably more than likely going to be a number 1 option at wide out. But yeah, he could be a good piece for special teams to return the ball and maybe get some good depth to relieve some pressure off of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams and even Hawkinson. So yeah, I think he has a good chance to make the roster, and it could be pretty productive. I mean, he could be a good reliable weapon for Jared Goff to throw to. But yeah, definitely has value as a special teamers. Really like a lot of him here. So the next of the 3 players we're going to go over here, hailing out of San Jose State, standing 6'4", weighing 235 pounds, we got tight end Derek Deese Jr. So for Derek, he's a natural pass catcher with NFL bloodlines. His father was a longtime starting offensive tackle for the 49ers, and Derek Deese. Of course, Deese Jr. is the versatile and rock-solid receiver and tight end in San Jose's offense. Thrives on physicality, has the ability to box out defenders in man coverage, always looking to lower his shoulder and initiate contact as a runner after the catch. Has a powerful leg drive, will often drag tacklers with him, and takes pride in throwing blocks in the run game. You know, he's an incredibly explosive athlete, fires out of his stance but great burst. He can scoop passes off the floor and adjust for poorly thrown balls. Has an excellent vertical threat with rare speed for the position. He understands his QB situation, will get creative to make himself available when plays break down. He's willing to get in the scraps with linebackers. He won't be a pushover as a blocker. He always maintains his stride through the catch process well. He brings enough shake after the catch, can minimize contact, slip through tackle attempts. He's crisp in and out of his route breaks. His size and speed combination should help him to establish a special teams role early in his career. So, could be a special teamer for sure, as either a kick returner or punt returner or just a blocker. And he uses his hands efficiently to create separation. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he won't be much of a big play threat, as he doesn't have the speed to get up the seam. He's not the dynamic athlete teams will look for as a flex tight end. While he's aggressive as a run blocker, he's also on the small side for an inline tight end. And he's built more like an enormous receiver rather than a true tight end. He's unlikely to ever work in line as a pro. Has a very thin build, somewhat lanky lower half. He's overwhelmingly has to work at the line of scrimmage. Can't hang in against defensive ends. He drops his eyes at tackle, takes bad angles as a blocker. His contact balance is too easily shattered. So overall, for his college career, other than being a son of Derek Deese, it's not hard to see a lot of the football bloodlines in this play. He spent 2 years of his first 2 years of his college career playing at a community college in Golden West as a wide receiver. Then he moved to San Jose State in 2018 and moved to tight end, and he produced at a decent level during 2019 and 2020. 2019, he had 11 catches for 179 yards, averaging 9.4 yards per catch with 2 touchdowns. 2020, he had 20 catches for 240 yards, averaging 12 yards a catch for 5 touchdowns. He was also named as one of the semifinalists for the John Mackey Award as a senior. He could have left for the 2021 draft last year, but he chose to take advantage of extra Black Plague eligibility to take one more ride with San Jose State. And the decision was a good one. It led to increased interest from scouts and a major leap in production. As in 2021, he had 47 catches for 730 yards, averaging 15.5 yards a catch, and 4 TDs. And those were all in 12 games. So, yeah, he was very productive that last year of college. So, yeah, overall for his college career, he had 86 catches for 1,149 yards, averaging 13.4 yards per catch and 11 touchdowns. So, decent production at college. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Chase Claypool of the Pittsburgh Steelers, who came into the league at first as a tight end but moved to wide receiver. So overall for him, he could carve out a role as a halfback in an offense that wants to establish a physical run game. And his impact as a patch catcher will likely be limited to underneath situations, so it could be like a situational tight end or wide receiver. You know, definitely could be somebody that provides some depth for TJ Hawkinson, or maybe could be a receiver threat on certain downs. You know, maybe someone for special teams for sure, but definitely at first I think I could see him start as a special teamer. But you know, maybe he could be a good like situational receiver or tight end for rotation depth. You know, definitely a special teamer for sure. And the final undrafted player we're going to go over in this video here, we have hailing out of TCU, standing 6'8", weighing 330 pounds. We got offensive tackle Obinna Easy. So for Obinna's strengths, basketball was his main sport when he arrived in the U.S. from Nigeria. And even after starting for 2 seasons at Memphis and 1 at TCU, the mammoth blocker still learning some of the nuisances of the sport. Plays with good balance and pass protection. He's more agile than you expect. His sheer size will give him margin, gives him margin for error on the edge. His athleticism shows when asked to get out into the space as a run blocker. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he doesn't bring the kind of power you want from someone his size, and his anchoring against power rushers was consistently an issue. Too often he gave up ground. He has to play with a more consistent pad level and add some nastiness to his game as a run blocker. So he's got to learn to get to the defensive lineman's pads. He's got to learn to get his hands there and be more consistent as a blocker. Well, of course, overall for his career snapshot, he came to the U.S., of course, from Nigeria as a basketball player. Switched to football as a high school senior. And then by his redshirt freshman year in college was the left tackle at Memphis. Decided to leave after playing 31 games for Memphis from 2018 to 2020 in the transfer portal, and headed west to TCU to get an opportunity against Big 12 competition. He impressed in that single year with TCU at the Power 5 level, and shows that his strength could hang against a higher caliber of opponent. For his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Jared Jones-Smith of the Baltimore Ravens. But overall, for his career, his eyes and athleticism will earn him a long look as a developmental prospect. But he can't be trusted in an NFL game until he proves himself that he can hold up against power defensive linemen. And he'll appeal more to teams, though, that run outside zone. So he could be like a situational blocker that can come in on situation downs, or be like a rotational depth piece to rotate out either Penei Sewell or Taylor Decker. You know, to keep him well-conditioned and keep him in the game long run. You know, give him a break. But, yeah. You know, definitely looks like he has a lot of potential, though. May take a couple years, though, for him to get his to get to his max potential. But I think for sure a rotational depth piece. Definitely could be a special teamers for, like, punt team and all that. But yeah, still, maybe someone to keep an eye on in the long run here for sure. But yeah, anyway, that wraps up the Lions offseason pretty much, and going over some of the key free agents I think have the best chance of making some sort of impact on the Lions. I mean, there are many others, though, that could make an impact, too, that I didn't talk about, though. But hey, that's the mystique of the draft for you. You know, where players that usually get taken early in the draft usually don't do as well as advertised, and then players taken later in the draft do better than those taken ahead of them. That's the mystique and why the NFL draft is a massive crapshoot. It's that one night a year where we all pretend to be armchair GMs for a day. I mean, or for a weekend. Hey, if scouting was so damn easy, we would all be scouts by now. But yeah, still, another offseason in the books. So, in terms of Lions content from here on out, it's probably going to be not a whole lot in between. I may do a couple videos here and there, but that's about it. For that, I mean, I'll probably have more reactions coming up because the NBA and NHL draft coming up, and then the MLB draft in July. Of course, I got the NASCAR content for sure, and of course, some of the Michigan Panthers game season as we're nearing the midway point of the inaugural USFL season. But yeah, of course, on the Lions, they had a really good draft, and the Lions, they're slowly but steadily, quietly building into a contender. And I think you give the Lions another offseason or two to add some more pieces to this team. The Lions, I think, are going to be a dangerous team to look out for in the NFC in a couple years. The one question, though, is at quarterback. Are the Lions fully committed to Jared Goff? Or is Goff still a bridge QB? Are they going to look at next year's draft to take a QB, since next year's draft is loaded with QB talents, especially with the Tank Bowl prize next year being Bryce Young? And hell, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions end up trading a lot of picks away to move up to get a QB next year's draft if Jared Goff doesn't pan out. Time will tell on that one for sure, but yeah, definitely though with the Lions getting Jameson Williams this year and having a really good offensive line, and I think DeAndre Swift's getting ready to have a breakout season to build off his career year last year. Next year, I think Goff has no excuses. It's simply put up or shut up. And I think the defense, they added some pieces here. I think Hutchinson's going to have a really good rookie season. You know, I mean, regardless of what happens with Hutchinson next year and from here on out, it's already a successful pick. Because Hutchinson doesn't really have to be good for the Lions to market him properly. Because think of this. Local boy out of Dearborn, Michigan. Goes to Michigan to play for the Wolverines. Grew up as a lifelong Lions fan. And now gets drafted and gets to play for his childhood team in the NFL in his hometown. Like the Lions can market him as the face of the defense right now. And they would sell tickets right out the ass. And everyone thinks it's just a cheap move to make money here. Here's the one thing about ticket sales that Lions fans keep forgetting. Ticket sales are the least of the Lions' money revenue. Most of the Lions' money revenue rests off ratings and sponsorship deals. And TV revenue. Because of them ads. Like TV and sponsorships are here. Right next is the sponsorship deal. And then right at the bottom here is ticket sales and revenue. That's where that... So yeah, you can all go away with that one. But yeah, no matter what happens, Hutchinson was a slam dunk pick for the Lions. And plus, Hutchinson fills a lot of holes on the Lions' defense. It gives them a legit pass rush since the Ndamukong Suh was with the Lions on the defensive line. But yeah, Hutchinson gonna be a beast. And I think Hutchinson's the guy that can come in and make an immediate impact on the Lions. It was a good pick. Regardless of what some people will say. But yeah, the Lions had a really good draft. You know, they had some really good draft grades, but to be perfectly honest, draft grades really don't mean jack shit until we see the actual product on the field. And of course, yes, I am doing a schedule prediction next week. This week when the schedule comes out. Even though schedule predictions also don't mean jack shit until we see the actual product on the field. I say let's just still do them just to have some fun. But of course, I did see the over-under win total for the Lions. It's around 6 to 7 wins. And I think that's pretty reasonable. Around 6, 7 wins, I can see that happening. I think that's a pretty reasonable over-under number. You know, I think they could win more games. They could win less games, you know. But hey, I think anything above 4, I think anything 4 wins or more is an improvement. I mean, hey, as long as the Lions don't finish in last place in the division, then I would call it a year of success for the rebuild. I mean, I would be disappointed if the Lions finish last in the division again. Like, I think the main goal is to make sure Toilet finishes last in the division. But hey, if the Lions finish 3rd or better in the division, I call that progress. Progress is progress at the end of the day. But yeah, going to be interesting to see for sure. And it's going to be interesting to watch the Lions on Hard Knocks this year to see what truly happens behind the scenes. Since we all know inside the den doesn't paint the full picture of what happens behind the scenes. But the Hard Knocks, the Lions would have nowhere left to hide. If the Lions really want the league to respect them, this is their chance right here because respect isn't handed out. It has to be earned the right way. But yeah, the Lions, though, they're doing a full-on proper rebuild the right way, no shortcuts. Do I think they're going to be a playoff team this year? No. I think they could be at least a 6-7 win team, at least maybe contend for a wild card spot. Be a contender, but not a team, not a playoff team. But could they become a championship contender in a couple years? Possibly if they keep building it right. It's just what happens with QB, and I think QB might be the last piece they add to this rebuild. You know, I think they're going to try and build this team similar to how the Chiefs built up their team. You know, do everything else first before getting a QB. I feel like that's the direction the Lions might go here. Get everything built up first and then go get their franchise QB. Whether it be Jared Goff or somebody else. Maybe it's someone in the 2023 class. Maybe it's someone in the 2024 class. You know, it would be pretty poetic if Detroit got their franchise quarterback in 2024 draft. When Detroit is hosting the draft in 2024. That would be kind of poetic, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, still, definitely a pretty good offseason for the Lions so far. You know, so a lot of great things to like on this team for sure. But hey, there's one thing we can say for sure. At least the Lions aren't the Tigers right now, because good God, the Tigers are ass so far. Like, they have really good pitching and all that, and yet they can't even score more than 2 runs a fucking game. And to think that we all thought the Tigers were going to be a fucking playoff team. Man. I mean, at least Lions fans got something to look forward to, right? Oh, shit. Not another Mobby incident. God damn it. So yeah, how about we end this video off, though, by talking about a little bit There Goes Mobby drama. As Mobby, yeah, he went on a massive temper tantrum after the Lions did not do what he wanted them to do. Yeah, Brad Holmes did not listen to him. As Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell took Aiden Hutchinson with the 2nd overall pick. Hell, the Lions rushed the card in so fast that the league actually got pissed off at them for it. Because apparently if you rush the card in too early, that takes away TV ad revenue. And you know the NFL wants that TV money because it's all about that money at the end of the day. And yeah, I guess turning the card in too early affects their bottom line. I say fuck them. They can be salty as hell for it. If there's a player you want that's right there on the board, you get that card in ASAP. And don't give a fuck about TV revenue. Plus, the league can hold on to the card a little longer if they wanted to. So that they can get that TV ad revenue in. I mean, they have 10 minutes in the first round between picks. Like, that's plenty of time to still get some TV revenue in. But yeah, anyway, though. But yeah, the Mobby thing, I'm not going to talk too much about the Mobby thing. I'm just going to let this compilation of everything he's tweeted the last week or so do all the talking.
from the clown.
So yeah, I did a rough count of how many tweets that was within the last week, and that was around 56 tweets. All of that was within a 1 week span. 1 week. And that's not even scratching the surface of this shit. And oh yeah, Moby, don't worry. We already know how much you announced that you were no longer a Lions fan. You announced this like a month ago. About a month ago. When the Lions didn't do free agency the way you wanted them to do it. When he didn't get your way. And you whined and cried and threw a little temper tantrum. And then announced that you were no longer a Lions fan. And that you didn't have an NFL team. And then proceeding in your Twitter bio to say, fuck it, you're a Rams fan. A bandwagon Rams fan. I wonder if it has anything to do with who the QB is. Wouldn't it be surprising if that was the case, considering that he already admits he's a bandwagon Charlotte Hornets fan, that only roots for the Hornets because of LaMelo Ball, because LaMelo Ball plays for him. And he also then went on and said that he only roots for whatever team LaMelo Ball is on. So he also admits that he's a LaMelo sexual. And really, Moby, out of any fucking team you could have chose, you chose the Hornets? Oh boy. And you think Brad Holmes is bad at player acquisition? Bitch, you have no idea what you're in store for Michael Jordan. Because if there's anything we know about Michael Jordan's tenure at running the Hornets, it's an absolute fucking disaster. Because Michael Jordan can't run a fucking basketball team to save his goddamn life. Hell, let me put this in perspective. Michael Jordan runs his NASCAR team better than he runs the Charlotte Hornets. But that doesn't take too much considering you look at his tenures running the Hornets in his career. It's fucking embarrassing for one to even consider that shit their own. So, yeah. And don't worry. When the Pistons play the Hornets later this year, I'll have a little video up for it so that I can put better context on the situation for everybody that thinks I'm not telling the truth or anything like that. But yeah, some of these tweets still from Moby, like Moby just went on a massive temper tantrum on his time in a month again. Complaining about how the Lions didn't draft the player he wanted it to. And that the Lions trading up with the Vikings was a dumb move. When reality was, that wasn't really a dumb trade. The Lions didn't even give up really anything. And oh, by the way, Moby, the Lions didn't give up 3 top 75 players. They only gave up 1. Because the picks the Lions gave to the Vikings were picks 32, 34, 66. In exchange for 12 and 46. They still had 3 picks in the top 75. They entered the draft with 4 picks in the top 75. 4 minus 3 equals 1. And that's right for you, Moby. So yeah, Moby, it's obvious math is not Moby's strong suit. Maybe instead of spending time in the film room, Moby, need to get your ass back in the textbooks and learn basic math 101. But yeah, and honestly, Moby saying that he bats 1,000% and that he's always right, that's just Moby having a god complex, because Moby will never admit he's wrong. Because anytime Moby has a problem or fucks up, he'll just throw somebody else under the bus and blame others for his mistakes, because nothing's ever his fault. It's always somebody else's fault. He'll make every fucking excuse to say how it's not his fault. And oh yeah, and then saying that Aiden Hutchinson won't get 10 career NFL sacks. I can't wait for that tweet to age poorly like milk. And oh, by the way, I should mention that my primary Twitter account's been blocked by Moby. So now you're asking the question, how the hell did I get all those tweets from There Goes Mobby /all32? Very simple. Little does There Goes Mobby know that I have a backup Twitter account that I keep on the down low. I kept a low profile to make sure to check out Moby's page to see what kind of shit he's posting. So yeah, Moby thought that blocking me was going to stop me from trash talking him. How cute. He ain't the first person to block me, and he sure as shit won't be the last one to. But yeah, Moby, blocking me like that was really gonna stop me from trashing the shit out of you. Fucking idiot. And yeah, Moby talking about how he'd be a 10-time better GM than Brad Holmes, saying how Brad Holmes is a fucking moron and all this shit. And saying how Lions fans are retarded and all that. And oh, by the way, Moby, by saying Lions fans are retarded, you're bashing every Lions fan that has a mental disability like autism and all that shit. So yeah, by Moby calling Lions fans retarded, he's bashing all Lions fans that have special needs and disabilities. So Moby doing that just shows how much of a piece of shit of a human being he truly is to make fun of people with disabilities. Like, that's pretty low to do that shit. And oh, by the way, I should mention real quick that I have autism and Asperger's syndrome. So yeah, Moby. I'm right here. Let's talk now. But yeah, and he also went on and tried to call Cade Cunningham the wrong pick for the Pistons. He tried to go basketball back in the summer last year, saying how Cade Cunningham was not the right pick for the Pistons and that they should have took Jalen Green. And here's the funny thing. Cade Cunningham was in the running for Rookie of the Year this year. And Jalen Green wasn't. Jalen Green is going to be a bust with the Rockets. I guarantee you. And Cade Cunningham's going to put the Pistons back on the map. And if you want some proof on some numbers, let me name some of Cade Cunningham's rookie numbers for you, Moby. Since you like to play the numbers game in stats and analytics, let's go some of stats and analytics on Cade Cunningham, shall we? Since I actually did my research, it wasn't a chump, since you challenged the fan base to not be chumps and to do their research. So yeah, I did exactly that, and here's what I had. So in 60 games, Cade Cunningham had 1,046 points, averaging 17.4 points a game, and this is all in his rookie season, had 339 rebounds, averaging 5.7 rebounds a game, and had 334 assists, averaging 5.6 assists per game. And let me put in perspective how good Cade Cunningham's rookie season was. There have been the last 6 NBA players to record at least 1,000 points, 325 rebounds, and 325 plus assists through their first 60 games. Those 6 players were Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, Oscar Robinson, Alvin Adams, LeBron James, and Luka Doncic. And that's some good company to be with. In fact, that's the best company to be with. So yeah, Moby, keep crying that the Pistons made the wrong choice, fake fan. Because it's obvious, clear as day, the Pistons made the right choice going with Cade Cunningham over Jalen Green. Plus, Jalen Green didn't want to go to play for Detroit anyway, so what was the point of drafting somebody that didn't want to be in Detroit to begin with? But yeah, Moby, he's had so many bad takes as of late, and then he just doubles and triples down. And like, really, Moby's whole argument about Lions fans being the dumbest fan base in all pro sports, it's simply he just simply sees one Lions fan post something he doesn't like or agree with. He's like, oh, this fan said something I don't like or agree with. So, he's a dumbass, and that means everybody else is a dumbass too. In fact, anybody that doesn't like or agree with what I say is a fucking moron and a retard and all that shit. That's literally there goes Moby's argument about Lions being the dumbest fan base in all pro sports in a nutshell is. And if you actually do your research on every sports fan base, Lions fans are not even, or Detroit sports fans in general, are not even remotely close to the worst fan base in all of pro sports. Not even close. Hell, I even talked to 2 of my friends who are Boston fans. In Space Mel Ferrari 248 and Blaze Life 334. Shout out to both of them. Yeah, and they actually looked at other sports fan bases too. And they confirmed to me that Lions fans' antics are child's play compared to other sports fan bases. And hell, I even showed the community post earlier today about NASCAR fans being worse. With that whole beer can incident and the truck race the other night. And mentioning the other times about beer cans being thrown on the track. But you know what, Moby? Maybe when Lions fans start throwing beer cans and shits at the referees over a bad call or at the Lions for playing like shit, then maybe, just maybe, we'll take your argument about Lions fans being the dumbest fan base in all of pro sports seriously. Because right now, you give us no evidence or proof that Lions fans are the dumbest fan base in all of pro sports. And by the way, Moby, showing one Lions fan having a bad take, one dumbass fan, doesn't speak for the millions and millions of Lions fans worldwide. Like, every fan base has their fair share of village idiots. That's no lie. Like, Moby needs to do his research better on other sports fan bases before he assumes which one's the worst. Because I've looked at other sports fan bases. Like, hell, I can easily say the top 3 worst sports fan bases are a toss-up between Boston, Philly, and Chicago. For their own reasons. I don't think I need to explain that one much further. But yeah, and in terms of Moby, and since Moby was now announced that he's a bandwagon Rams fan, until he stabs the Rams in the back, and Rams fans, I hope he paid attention to that montage I played, because that's your future when you say one thing that Moby doesn't like or agree with, he's going to go on a massive temper tantrum on all of yous. Before he decides to stab the Rams fan base in the back. Hell, it's pretty inevitable he'll stab the Charlotte Hornets fan base in the back too when Michael Jordan lowballs LaMelo Ball and LaMelo fucks off to another team. I'll tell you right now, if LaMelo fucks off to the Pistons, Moby ain't coming into the Pistons fan base. He ain't welcome here. I'll tell you right now, if Moby tries to join the Lions fan base, try and rejoin the fan base, we ain't being welcomed back with open arms. He ain't welcome back. Rams fans, you want him, have him. We don't want him anymore. He's your problem now. And oh, by the way, Moby, since the Lions offseason is now pretty much in the quiet time until training camp, and other than a few vlogs I got planned coming up, and just mainly Michigan Panthers content, and then the NHL and NBA draft being a month from now, I got all time in the world to deal with you. So yeah, Moby, anytime you say something bad, I'm just gonna respond right back. I'm gonna go to bat for every Lions fan that can't speak or defend for themselves right now. I will be the voice of the voiceless in the Lions fan base against you. And before anyone wants to criticize this, I did think to myself, would Moby do the exact same thing I did to him if the shoe was on the other foot? And you know what? I've seen Moby do it in the past to other people. And everyone praised him for it. So if it's okay for Moby to do it, then I guess it's okay for me to do it, then no exceptions. Since that's a standard all of Moby's fanboys, all of Moby's dick-riding fanboys wanted to set for everybody. Yeah, Moby wants to talk about how he goes up against a bunch of literal nobodies on Twitter, when literally his Twitter followers are almost the exact same number as mine. How cute. Like, Moby is just extremely arrogant with a god complex. He's extremely arrogant, and he just burns any fucking bridge he has with everybody. Like, he's just an absolute piece of shit of a human being. And he just, like, I think I just showed all the proof I need to say. I honestly feel like it's a good thing that he's out of the Lions fan base now. Because we don't need this kind of cancer right now. Especially with the culture the Lions are trying to build right now. We don't need Moby's shit right now. But if Moby does it, because we told Moby before, he don't like how the Lions are going, then take the gear off and go cheer for a different team. Go be a bandwagon Rams fan. Go join the Rams. Go be the Rams fan base problem. See ya, Rams fans, Rams house, have fun with There Goes Mobby / all 32. He's your problem now. Anyway, I'm out. I'll see you all for the schedule prediction. I can't wait for when the Pistons play the Hornets late this year, and I can't wait for when the Lions play the Rams next, because I got a couple hate weeks planned for Moby on those occasions. So you got that to look forward to. So yeah, Moby, time to go. Welcome to my firing range, and I'm going to make your life a living hell. I will make sure, Moby, you don't succeed. It's on now. Like, actually, before I end this one off, I just want to put this in perspective here. Moby's hatred for the Lions, his obsession of Lions fans, it's way, 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 way worse than Judah Tribe's obsession for the Lions was. We all thought Judah Tribe's obsession was bad. There Goes Moby's is significantly worse. The good news is, Moby, we've dealt with Judah Tribe's bullshit for how many years? So we have experience in that category. Since all you are, Moby, is just Judah Tribe 2.0. And the good news is we have experience beating the original Judah Tribe and making him our bitch. So you should be no problem. It should be easy work, just like clockwork. It should be easy to take out the trash. Y'all know who this is, C-Rad. It's one pride in this motherfucker. Go Lions.